Welcome to this vintage farmhouse antiques video presentation. We're going to show you and tell you all about Royal Albert Lavender Rose pattern china. Got a lovely party set in front of us here, including small teapot, milk jug, sugar basin, 6 trios and the cake or sandwich serving plate. Royal Albert Lavender Rose was made in the classic Montrose shape. Well recognised this shape, used extensively for the whole range of rose design chinas that Royal Albert were increasingly famous for producing, including the Old Country rose design, which is the most recognisable pattern in china history. Lavender Rose was made for a relatively short period between 1982 and 2008. It was all made in England. None of it has been transferred to Asian production by Royal Albert. So this is now a vintage collecting and collector's set. Lavender Rose includes this pink rose blossom, and it's supposed to also include lavender blossoms in there, although I find as a gardener it quite difficult to spot. It's more a lavender tinge on the actual foliage bracts in the background. First quality china marks on all these pieces. You can tell that by the floral mark. Royal Albert Bone China England should have Lavender Rose in a lavender font and print below, and no scoring or scratching out of the china mark indicates a first quality piece. You should have ribbing with the scalloped rim all around on the side plates. Check the gilt condition on your Lavender Rose as well. Most of the gilt was on the upper aspect as opposed to the outer aspect of the flatware, but this does make it a little prone to wear, particularly when it's stored in stacks. Let's have a look at the teapot and show you what to check when you're buying a Lavender Rose teapot. Again, the classic Montrose shape. This is a smaller version, which is around between 3/4 and 1 pint, depending on how full you fill it. And they did make a larger 2 1/4 pint version, a size up on this. But do check the dimensions when you're buying them, because they look identical on internet graphics. Again, check the china mark for first quality marks, and then check all around, particularly over the handle for any wear on the gilt. You can see these areas here and here are typically where the gilt is worn over time. This one's in near mint condition and fantastic. And then the next important thing to check is the lid. Should have a lock on it. Check all around the inner rims, but also this little area here. Absolute classic for this acorn handle on the top of the lid to be broken off. Very prone to that, so do check it's got no repairs on there and hasn't been glued back on. Common to find one which you think's in fantastic condition, only to find it comes apart when the glue loosens when you're washing up. And then the inner rim is very important to check all around here. Again, this is the most likely area to sustain damage as the lid comes on and off. And then the interior, just to make sure it's in nice clean condition with no damage again. And of course around the spout, very prone to little nibbles and chips. This one again is absolutely fine. So that's what you should be looking for the teapot. Same with the milk jug and sugar basin. They made various sizes in this, mainly a 1/2 pint milk jug. Again, check the china marks and condition of the gilt for any wear. And with the sugar basin, again, first quality china mark. Check around the base plate and the upper rim to make sure that it's all as it should be. Now the trios, Montrose classic shape on the teacup. Let me just bring that up so you can see it. Raised peaked handle. Again, check for wear on the gilt around the handle. It's a common area where it's going to take a lot of use. And then around the rims for any cracking. Do this in really good light conditions as well, because fine hairline cracks can be almost impossible to spot unless you've got really good lighting. And then the saucer, classic Royal Albert shape, should be really well decorated like this with three blocks of pattern, and the ribbing you can see coming up here to this little rolling scalloped rim with the gilt. Again, check your china marks. Same on the side plate. All the side plates that Royal Albert made over this period of time are the same size, so you haven't got to worry about the diameter or dimensions. Don't think Lavender Rose was ever made with a square cake plate, so they will all be round versions as we're showing you here. Should all be nice and bright. Glaze should be really good and shiny, and just take your time excuse me, to make sure that it's all in first-rate condition. Now the last piece we're going to show you this morning is this sandwich or cake serving plate, usually about 9.5 to 9.75 inches, extending to around 10.5 inches between these very exaggerated eared handles, with some lovely gilt around here that's been put on by the decorators. Now, just to show you, I don't know whether you spotted the damage on this cake plate or not, but I have here. You see this area here has just had an impact and the chips come right off the ear of this handle. So that's a classic damage. You can see it's probably taken the knot this way because you can see it's rotated right the way back into that. That's the only damage on this cake plate, but it is sharp and it does, I'm afraid, render this cake plate of no commercial value due to that damage. Still perfectly usable within a set and for display, but it is a sharp edge which nothing can be done to repair this. We're often asked, is there anybody that can repair things like this? And commercially now, the expense and labour charges involved in repairing bone china are so high that there's just I've not come across anybody offering the service on the market at all recently. So there we are, Royal Albert Lavender Rose. Is it collectible? Yes. Is it sought after? Yes, it is. Not quite as highly as Old Country roses or some of the other more floral patterns. This is quite a light design lavender rose. It hasn't been made since 2008, so increasingly trying to find pieces in great condition is becoming harder. And as you can see, as pieces get damaged, then the total supply on the market becomes less and less. Is it a good investment? Well, not yet, to be honest. This is still second-hand vintage china. It's a good brand, Royal Albert. Lavender Rose is one of those collectible sets that may well increase in value with inflation over the years, but is it going to be a good investment in terms of increasing in value? I doubt it, to be honest. Along with a lot of this china, it is saleable, it's collectible, but I wouldn't certainly put it into the investment category at this level of manufacture. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you need further advice or have questions about Royal Albert and in particular Lavender Rose, do get in touch with us through comments. We're going to link this video to our other Royal Albert China pattern videos that we're producing, showing the different patterns as a reference for people trying to identify unmarked pieces, and hopefully this will be of increasing use to people on the internet. Thanks for watching.